We'll finish off with going through the second implement harness. So that implement harness attaches at those plugs we discussed on the last implement harness, high current power, and our ISO plug. Once again, they wire together to become one harness. That one harness will go back till it gets to the main ECU stack on the tank. At this point, because we're at the back of the last implement harness, we no longer need to have a T there. It's just going to end. So because we're ending there, we've got the rear terminator here as well. This rear terminator gives us termination at the back of the system. We once again have our breakout harness. At our breakout, we have a whisker switch here, safety loop, safety switch with the cap on again, and auxiliary power. The whisker switch needs to be tied in to the lift lower whisker at the tank as well in order to power it. If you've got a 2018 system where the brakes are integrated into the X35, this power plug will need to be plugged in here in order to be able to override the power to back up the unit using the monitor. All the connections at the ECUs on the tank, so we'll have one CM40, which will be CM41, which has to be powered up and communicating in order for any of the rest of the ECUs to be seen. It's going to have our channels 1, 2, 3, and 4 for controlling tanks 1 through 4, and also there will be a plug here in the auxiliaries which reads ground speed, fan speed 1, fan speed 2, fan pressure for hydraulic pressure, and also tied into the brake system. The second CM40, so if we've got a fifth tank or if we're controlling a liquid anhydrous product, channel 1 will be tank 5, so that would be the saddle. And if we have a liquid NH3 product, that'll be using channel 2. The other two channels won't be populated. For doing granular section control, we will have an EM24. We will have inputs 1 through 14 and 15 through 28 is going to be our feedback sensors. Relays 1 and 2 are going to be controlling the sectional gates. We've removed everything but the channel controls for the two CM40s. So you can see that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 channel controls in CM41 and 1 channel control in CM42. All 4 harnesses will be the same. So we're just going to follow number 1, which is this one here, and we're going to follow it all the way out to the sensors that are plugged into it. So if we get out to the back, we're going to find that we have the speed sensor that senses our metering auger speed. We'll have one going to the valve, that's our PWM control. One going to the bin level sensor, that gives us our level or our empty in our tank. And we also have a transducer for tank pressure. This will tell us if our lids are empty, and it'll also balance the tanks for giving us scale readouts. You will find this sensor on tank 5 on a 2018 or newer 7000 tank equipped with X35, and also any 9000 series tank in all compartments. And remember, all 5 harnesses will be the same. We've removed everything but the channel controls for the two CM40s. So you can see that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 channel controls in CM41 and 1 channel control in CM42. All 4 harnesses will be the same. So we're just going to follow number 1, which is this one here, And we're going to follow it all the way out to the sensors that are plugged into it. So if we get out to the back, we're going to find that we have a speed sensor that senses our metering auger speed. We'll have one going to the valve, that's our PWM control. One going to the bin level sensor, that gives us our level or our empty in our tank. And we also have a transducer for tank pressure. This will tell us if our lids are empty, and it'll also balance the tanks for giving us scale readouts. You will find this sensor on tank 5 on a 2018 or newer 7000 tank equipped with X35, and also any 9000 series tank in all compartments. And remember, all 5 harnesses will be the same. Everything has now been unplugged, with the exception of the auxiliary plug in CM41. The auxiliary plug in CM41 goes out and it ties into the whisker switch and the auxiliary power in our second implement harness. It also goes back and splits off 3 ways, going back, and the first split off comes to our speed sensor. For our ground speed goes to one of the wheels. The fan hydraulic pressure sense for the zero pressure return. We have fan 1 and fan 2 speed sensors. We also have the brake valve for the surge brakes, and there's an override here that you can press on the monitor so you can back up the tank, and also a pressure transducer here that monitors the pressure in the braking system to ensure that the brakes are not on when you're traveling forward. 4 units running liquid NH3 section control. You're going to be plugged into the first available channel drive. In this case, we're running 4 tanks in a saddle, so we're using channel 2, and this is going to control our product rate. So we follow that harness out, goes across the tank, and it's going to tie into that same spider harness that we saw from the ECUs on the other implement harness where we were controlling the sections and the power. This is going to control the rate. When doing NH3 section control, refer to the troubleshooting and also the setup, as each dealership does have this control harness which verifies that everything is working properly before it goes to the customer on the Topcon end. Finally, at this ECU, we have our EM24 for doing our granular section control. With the dual boom section control, we're going to have inputs 1 through 14 and inputs 15 through 28 doing our section feedback sensing. So if we follow those 2 harnesses out, they'll go up to the main sectional control stand, and at each gate valve you're going to find one of these proximity sensors located underneath on the bottom on the back. So what that does is it sends feedback to the monitor whether the gate is opened or closed. If it senses that the gate is closed when it should be open, or vice versa, it'll send a signal to the monitor telling it that there's an error. If you have a 6 or 8 manifold system, you'll have extra caps that won't have sensors on them because everyone's set up for 10 section system. These need to have a loop cap on them. Without the loop cap, they remain open and they will be sending random errors to the monitor. And that'll be on both harnesses because there will be one for each side. One for fertilizer, one for seed. Also at the EM24 for the sectional control is where we get our section control through the relays plugs. So we've got relays 1, relays 2 for our dual boom. So 1 is always going to be your seed side, 2 is your fertilizer. If we follow those two harnesses out, they are going to go up to the hydraulic blocks at the section control tower. So you can see here we've got one block plugged in. The other one I didn't have a block for, it's just static. So this is an 8-port manifold, so you're going to have 8 of them plugged in. They are labeled. Each plug will have a label on it. On the side of the block you will also find a number for which plug is which, so you know which one to plug it into so they correspond correctly. The empty caps don't need to have a loop on them, but they should have a cap on them to keep dust and debris from getting in and possibly shorting it up.